S15 at the point where we're actually going to start making progress to getting it all back together. Today, just working on the motor. So RB25 engine's actually out of a stage here. It has built bottom end, built head as well. So in the block we've got, what do we got? We've got spool rods, we got Ross pistons, ARP bolts in the, for the main studs as well, and then 1/2 inch head studs, horsepower junkie ported head, Calford cams, some Calford springs as well. That's about it, I guess. Pretty basic these days, but it gets the job done. But the problem I've had with this engine in the past was at high RPM was losing some oil pressure, not losing it all completely, but just finding the oil was moving in the sump a bit too much. Running a bit of extra oil seemed to help, but seeing as the engine's out, we'll get it fixed. So we've got this tomei baffle, looks like it'll do the job. We're also going to drill some holes from the back of the sump to the front as well, make it a bit nicer, let the oil flow. But first things first, got to get the sump off the block. So undo the 14mm bolts, flip her upside down, get all the others out of the way. Heavy bloody thing, nearly too much for the engine stand, but it's on there now, make it work. First step's done, sump's off, see all the goodies hiding in there. Everything is looking as clean nearly as the day I built it, which is good. But yeah, we'll give it all a bit of a clean up. Got to get all that gasket goo off the block, reseal it. But yeah, the sump. So we've got the factory baffle that doesn't really do too much. See the blue food dye from when I was doing some welding on it. Putting those bungs on the side originally just to make sure they didn't leak. And let's see if I can see them. There is 4 little holes down there, 5 little holes. Just got to drill those out. Try and do them with this pipe in the way. See how we go. Make something work anyway. And then get rid of all that smuts that it'll cause. Completely forgot the diff still had fluid in it, so that was leaking out. It's going to have to get drained and changed anyway. But just pushing past that at the moment. Got a little filler bung on there. But we'll get it on there. First I'm just going to get all the block cleaned up so I can chuck a rag over top of it, keep all this shit out of it while it's open, and then get on to cleaning the sump up and getting the baffle ready to go. Alrighty, so just a quick before, after. See all the baffling in the side of the tomei one, little rubber flaps that move to allow the oil to go into the middle. So we actually get like a little bit of a surge tank area where this one had absolutely nothing. It was more just to stop it splashing at the top. And at the back we can see those tiny little bloody holes, which appear like they're bigger from the top, but they're not. So I have to work out how I'm going to drill those out. I reckon I've got a long enough drill bit that I should be able to get them out. Just going to give the sump a bit of a light clean out as it's got all the milky ethanol crap in there. But we'll give that a clean out. Everything's going to get a pressure wash outside soon anyway. To the garage after having to clean myself up, chuck some clean clothes on, well, dry clothes on after soaking myself, cleaning up this bad boy. She's all painted now in VHT silver. Just mocked up the baffle. Fits in there really tight, actually the whole way across. There is notes that if you need to trim, you can trim down there, but I don't reckon it needs it. It's hard up, but that's alright. And funny enough, the tomei guide actually does say to drill them out to 5mm, which is what I did. So she's good to go. Bolt her back on, well, back in, all nice, and then bolt it back onto the engine. Let's chuck some bolts in there and see what it all looks like back together. She's all tight, no rattles, which is nice. But yeah, good to go back on. We'll give the block a bit of a clean up now. Bolt it back up, see what she all looks like back together. One of those nice pieces that's just hidden away like many other things in the motor. back to looking like a real engine again. Got the sump bolted down, all the bolts are being triple checked. I still got to flip it over and chuck the nuts on the studs on the other side, but one final touch for the bottom. Got a nice little G-ready sump bung, only finger type actually, yeah, finger type for now, as I will take it out once more to nip it up just in case. That way I can chuck some oil in it for when it's just sitting. Just the little things. But yeah, I'll flip it over and just got those studs to chuck the nuts on. I'll chuck the dipstick back in. Might just double check those bolts again. Can't help it. Bit insecure when it comes to these bolts. Need to make sure they are perfectly tight. I don't want any leaks. Probably overglued it a little bit. Not too much weepage, but it should be good. Nice free bond. When we're pulling it off, it actually took a fair bit to get it off. So I know she's on there good. Nothing like free bond. It works real well and it's grey. Beats that red crap. Just like that, we are back to pretty much how we started. Only difference is the sump looks clean and painted. Everything else is done, back together. I'll chuck some plastic over the top of the engine. Still got to pull the old intake manifold gasket off there. Give that a good clean up. Not a job for today. Exhaust ports, they can stay uncovered. But yeah, just chuck some plastic over until the cam covers are painted, just to protect everything. Otherwise that's me done for the day. Engine is back together, just going to have a little bit of a tidy up, clear off some of this junk out of the way, that way I can get back into the door if I need to. But yeah, happy with how that all went together.